Hi everyone, I didn't do my talk this morning, but I'm doing it now. So it's continuing John Maxwell, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. And I'm still focusing on the first chapter. There's so many good points to focus on. And one of the things I'm focusing on today is losses. Losses will never leave us the same. They create a gap between I should and I did. And the important thing is to be able to learn from those losses. For us, many of us who are Indians, who are visible minorities, who have been exposed to contract work and not treated the same as other people in this country, it's very hard when you're going from contract to contract and people are letting you go for mistakes other people did, or they don't have the budget, or they got a call and they decided, okay, they're not keeping the contractors anymore. Losses are hard. In the ideal world, in the American world, you're supposed to save 3 to 6 months of your savings. And in the American world, if you're not working, you're a bum. You're worthless. What's wrong with you? Why can't you get a job? Go and work at Tim Hortons, go and work at Popeyes, take anything. Take a job taking out the garbage. Do something with your life. But the reality is that Canada is not America. In Canada, you can dumb down your resume, you can do all kinds of things. People want to see that you have experience in that area. And they want to hire somebody who can hit the ground running. But when time comes to let you go, they don't care if you have a family at home, if you have an elder mother, if you have no food. We have so many tent cities springing up in Canada. We have so many people who are like me, who are highly qualified, and we couldn't get into a permanent job. From 2008, my job that I got into, I am highly educated and I am not using my education in that job. I use it in bits and pieces, maybe for health and safety when I was working with some of our clients, helping with health and safety for drivers, for accidents, things like that. I use bits and pieces for recruitment, for onboarding, for job shadowing, but I am not earning what I'm worth. I am underemployed. I'm not earning the $35, $40 an hour I was earning in my contracts, but I took it for stability. But I work for it, I earn it. When the contracts end, if my scores were not good, if I was not professional, if I was not friendly, if I was not doing a good job, my company would not find another position for me. And that's what broke everybody's hearts when TD let me go. Because I had the experience in HR, I had the experience in operations, and they would not place me in a relationship management role. They chose somebody with an accounting background. So, all the managers said to me, leave. We'll give you references, we'll back you up. And it's not like they haven't tried. They gave me good references. I was highly recommended in my contracts, but nobody made me permanent. It's the same thing with Credit Suisse. When I was accused of being fixated and obsessed with them, the other banks, my managers would not confirm it because they knew it wasn't the case. I was trying to help them. I was trying to show them where their problems are with high turnover of executive assistants, how they were treating people, why people weren't staying. Why would the banks confirm something which is actually not true? Why? Because I was not fixated and obsessed with them. I didn't deserve to have formal charges brought against me through the police. I'm struggling like many people. Whatever little money I earned has gone now to pay my credit cards, to pay the interest on interest, to pay for the overdraft fees. And the banks have no mercy on me. They don't care if I was a past employee. They don't care if I worked at CIBC, RBC, TD, Credit Suisse on contracts. They don't learn from their mistakes. I put that documentary out on Credit Suisse and what happened to them. I told the truth. I tried to help them. Even when I told Roger Federer, move some of your money, I did that out of my love for him. I didn't do it just because he's a tennis player. It's because there's a connection. There's a connection to Wits in South Africa for me. There's a connection to Zimbabwe. That's why I did it for him. I have not watched him play since he was a kid. The last time I watched him play was when he was in Zimbabwe. I didn't have the money to watch the tennis matches. I never went out. I didn't even know who the latest tennis players were. And there's so many women like me going through the same thing. And I think it's sad that even with the recommendations I had, even with the referrals I had, nobody would make me permanent. So anyway, I've learned from it. I'm staying in this job. I'm still applying for executive assistant positions, and I know that I'll be good at it. But even that, because of all the trauma I went through, what John Maxwell did for me when they had new people coming in, they helped me, they let me do the onboarding. I told them I don't even know how to do a meeting anymore, send out the meeting invite. So they said, we'll help you. We'll help you to get back up to speed. So they let me send out Google invitations from my calendar. They let me induct the people joining John Maxwell. They let me coach them on their speeches and giving positive feedback. And with John Maxwell, we always focus on the positive. We always focus on building people up, not coming down on them and ruining their lives. We focus on helping, making things better. And that's the same thing Jesus focused on. Unfortunately, people who are too focused on hierarchy, like the job descriptions in Canada, get caught up in titles. And if you're focused on titles, you're not going to be successful in John Maxwell. And you're not going to be successful in life because you're too focused on the hierarchy. I'm a director, I'm a manager, I'm a supervisor. What happens when you lose that job? When you don't have it anymore? Our worth in John Maxwell is not on our titles. It's because we are created in the image and the likeness of God. That is our starting point. That is my starting point as a spiritual director. We treat people as human beings. On the other campaigns I worked on, we didn't read the script. We related to people, person to person. And if people thought we were reading a script, they said, stop reading a script to me. I need you to speak to me, person to person. It's not an easy job working in the call center. It's not easy for any of us. There are many people there that held senior management roles working for companies like Deloitte, KPMG, RBC. They were earning close to $100,000 a year. They can't get work. So it's very, very hard. It's not just happening here. It's happening in England. It's happening in Germany. It's happening all over the world. They're taking the jobs to Africa. Fair enough, good enough, cheap labor. But we did a fantastic job for them, and for that we can pat ourselves on the back, because the education standards in South Africa now are falling. They're passing people with a 30% pass rate, and my friends have told me that. So if they can do the same quality work, and they'll get the training, they'll get all the support they need from my company. But in Nigeria, who's going and looting places, holding people up, taking guns? It's the graduates. And Nigeria should be ashamed of that. My Nigerian friends told me. They said, Belinda, it's not people who are uneducated. It's not people who are illiterate. They are graduates. They want the private jets. They want the first-class flights. They want all these things, and they can't have them, so they're ruining the country. In Zimbabwe, people that turn to crime are the desperate. they're not like the Nigerians. I'm sorry to say it, but it's just the reality. That's why even those girls were asking me, you from Zimbabwe, what are you doing here? Because they know our work ethic, they know our morals, they know how Zimbabweans are. There's nothing I can do. I'm glad that documentary came out, because every time I was hurt, every time I was put down, every time I was told I was the problem, I took it and I cried. I took the abuse. None of the managers from Credit Suisse went to bat for me with the police. And now that documentary came out, and I'm glad, because I've been exonerated. I'm not the only innocent one who did a fantastic job for them who can't get work. There are other people who I know through people, or other people who have told me, so-and-so was a fund manager for them, they can't get work. So-and-so did a brilliant job for them, they can't get work. So it's not only me. I know I'm a brilliant executive assistant, and I know my worth, I know when to push back, I know who to go to for what. I know I'm good at it. But the question is, why isn't Canada giving me that opportunity to get back into an executive assistant role, or to get into a relationship manager role? I didn't do anything wrong. And I'm glad I stood by Roger Federer and I told him what I did, because now he'll be able to see it. I was good, and I'm a good person, and I might make mistakes, but I do not deliberately hurt others and force people to get a psychiatric assessment because other people won't tell the truth. It's completely unfair.